Good evening, everyone. I'm Madison Gitlin, and I work with environmental nonprofit Global Green. We basically have offices in New York, DC, New Orleans, and our headquarters is in Santa Monica, and we run a bunch of different programs nationwide underneath the umbrellas of green urbanism and resource recovery. So I work mostly with our resource recovery work. I help to expand organics collection programs in multifamily buildings throughout California, and we've tried to put together a model that would be replicable and scalable wherever you may want to take it. So we've been in this sphere for about 7 years now, trying to really refine this model. And over the past 3 years or so, since I joined with Global Green, we've been able to implement food scrap collection, or rather the first food scrap collection programs in multifamily buildings in both the city of LA and in the city of Santa Monica. And these programs have been based on enhanced tenant outreach strategies and how those can increase diversion and participation. These programs are extremely resource intensive. It costs a lot of money to send someone to knock on every door in the city of LA and talk about why composting is great. It also takes a lot of, it's very labor intensive to do these full waste characterizations where you're jumping in and out of dumpsters. That's how I spent most of 2016. And not gonna lie, I threw on my back quite a few times. It's one of my favorite parts of my job, but it's still painful. So we've come up with this resident engagement model called the Eco Ambassador Program that's based off of other successful programs in cities like Seattle and in Toronto, where we basically recruit motivated apartment dwellers that want to take a bit more ownership over the recycling programs in their buildings. They come to one of our trainings, and we train them how to be a waste expert for their community. So we teach them what materials should be going to the recycling bins, what materials should be going into the organics bins, how they can communicate this information to their neighbors, and how they can communicate effectively why these issues are important. And how to have these conversations with their landlords, how to set up a composting program in their building, and just how to be an environmental steward for their neighbors. And multifamily buildings are a really great challenge in the recycling sphere because of, one, high turnover rates, and two, they're kind of the last to be rolled out for the recycling and organics programs. And year by year, it could be a new set of people living in the building. There's also culture and language barriers that come up. So these eco ambassadors will most likely represent their communities that they live in and the people that they live with. So they're able to kind of overcome those barriers of language and culture. And they're also, hopefully someone that plans to live in the building for a little bit longer. So as old tenants move out and new neighbors move in, it's that eco ambassador's job to go and introduce themselves to their new neighbors and introduce the recycling practices in those buildings so that they're not lost, but they only grow stronger. And so I really think that by empowering residents, you're empowering your communities with not only the knowledge of how to properly recycle, but how to be an environmental advocate. That's